It's Saturday, February 9th, 10th, whatever it is. I pulled the buggy engine apart. That went actually really well. Torque checked all my head bolts, and they were all right at spec, so I didn't have any abnormal stretch or bolts backing off or anything like that. Mind you, I only had 5,000 kilometers on it. Didn't heat cycle it too much. But there is huge carbon buildup on every single piston cylinder and all the heads in the combustion chambers. And I was getting a ton of blow by when I was running it in the latter half of last year. So popped off my piston cylinders, and I found the top rings on all of them were snapped into multiple pieces on every single cylinder, and that kind of made me scratch my head because I know I checked the end gap on them when I had it apart this time last year. So I thought, what the hell, whatever, I'll just fucking order new rings. So I measured the thickness, 1.5 mil. I'm like, all right, well, let's get them in. Ordered up some concept one? CIP one. California Import Parts. That's the one. Out of Vancouver, I believe. Burnaby, something like that. It's all Vancouver to me. And before they got in, I started cleaning up all my pistons. Brought them to my shop, let them soak in the Varsol tank for a while, and then just hit them with a really light Scotch-Brite pad to get all the carbon buildup off. They were, I don't know, maybe a 16th inch thick on carbon. Like, it was heavy everywhere. They cleaned up really well, except for the number 2. I had some scoring, but the second compression ring was also broken on that. So I got, coffee morning, Saturday morning. Like I was saying, broken rings on everything. The piston scoring, if this will focus, there we go. It's not huge amounts. It cleaned up really well. Tops of the pistons all look good. I didn't have any major marks in there. There we go. A little bit of scratching on the cylinder. That was probably for me right now. Labeled, of course. And the cylinders actually looked really fucking good. Crosshatch, everything. There were no, even with all the broken rings, there were no marks. But when I was cleaning the pistons, I was using one of my many broken rings to clean them out. I threw one in there and went, huh, that seems like an abnormally large gap to me. So I measured my piston cylinders, and the gap in there was over 0.5 mil, which spec on it is about 1.5 mil, or 1.5 thou to 6 thou should be your gap. So these are made for 2 mil compression rings. I ordered 1.5, so those are absolutely fucking useless to me. So I went into Concept 1 yesterday because I had the day off. Let me just grab some coffee here. Oh, sweet succulent coffee. Went in and talked to Ken King. Pretty sure he owns Concept 1 there. Really knowledgeable Volkswagen guy. I like to think that he's preventing me from blowing myself up too early. Like, I'm still not expecting this to make it the fucking Baja 1000 or anything. Like, I'm well aware it's gonna blow. It's just a matter of when, whether it's 2 weeks after I get it running or whether it's 4 years after I get it running. But that'll give me some time to get some parts, some forged pistons, yada for all my other stuff. So being that the buggy came with the 88 thin walls, Ken doesn't carry 88 mil piston rings because they're kind of an oddball, and thin walls are a stupid fucking idea. So what Ken did was convince me to go to a stock piston cylinder, which is the 85.5s. 85.45 piston, 85.5 cylinder. And if you take a look at the thickness of the walls, it's going to take the heat a lot better. It's going to have less distortion, hopefully. As he put it, this is the better of a bad idea. He still doesn't think it's a good idea, me turboing. just a stock engine, but with cast pistons. But what the hell? Rings were going to be around $100 Canadian for the 88s, and new piston cylinders were about 190, 200, somewhere in there. And that's new pistons, new rings, new everything. So I got 3 of them already spec'd out. Opened up my ring gaps. Oh shit, I never wrote it down. I got my top ring gaps at the top of the cylinders as 24-24, at the bottoms of the cylinders, just to make sure I don't have any cylinder taper. This one was also 24-24. Second ring gaps I opened up a little wider, 26 thou at the top cylinder, 26 thou at the bottom of the cylinder, and then oil control rings 24 thou, 23, 24. Just to make sure that I don't have anything way out to whack. So I still got one to do, which is this one here. I'll probably add video of me doing it. I'm doing it all in my living room because it is fucking cold out and I am a tropical people. So I've had this thing for fucking years. The ring file, it works actually really good. Like, it's not a high dollar part. I think it was $40 when I got it, 40 or 50. That was a couple of years ago, mind you. As far as cylinder ring compressor, this is the Matco one that I'm running. I know from the factory you put the pistons on first onto the rods, and then use one of those C-clamp style with the pliers and everything. But Volkswagen Darren, I've been watching a lot of his videos. Speaking of other knowledgeable Volkswagen guys, he loads up the jugs with the pistons and then just slips out the skirt until I can't eat. Getting there. This is so hard to do one-handed. Hold on. He just slips them out just like that, and then takes his wrist pin, throws it through onto the thing, snaps the circlip in, slides the cylinder back down. I did that when I initially built the engine last year. I really wish that I found that they were 1.5 mil opposed to 2 mil rings, but que sera, sera. So, yeah. I'm gonna get my grind on, do this last piston cylinder over here, write down all my specs, and then throw that. I got a book going for everything that I've done on the buggy. That way, when I go to get it appraised or what have you, get some actual value out of it. And then they can't argue, oh no, you didn't, you don't have new piston cylinders. Oh, yeah, fuck you, I got a receipt. So, also helps me diagnose things down the road. It's like, oh, what heads do I have on that thing? What did I do to them? Yada, yada, yada. Speaking of heads, I do have a little bit of cleanup work to do. When I had it apart last year, I did CC them. So 53 CCs. Running the single heavy duty valve springs. I'm going to pull these apart, lap them in. I had them through spark plug in, had them soaking in WD-40 to loosen up the carbon. And that worked really well. And I didn't have any leaks going down into my exhaust ports or my intake ports of the WD-40. Had it sitting for 2 days. So I really don't need to clean them, but I'm also going to come in here and just open up the short turn radius, which spark plug side is where you make all your power on naturally aspirated Volkswagens from everything I've heard. And exhaust, my short turn radius is fucking shit because these are stock heads. So I'm going to open them up just a hair, like not going for a race port here. I'm just trying to make it less casting flash, better flow. Yeah, and that is the lot of it. So yeah, super exciting stuff. I'm a big fan of ring pliers. I know a lot of guys can just twirl them off, no problem. I've broken a lot doing that, so. Not Volkswagen ones, mind you. This is my first Volkswagen I've worked on, but I have worked on many other things in the past. So yeah, a lot of guys, they'll just snap it, spin it off, which I have no problem doing on the oil control rings, but that's just yeah. I say I have no problem, as I have problems. So, get all the ring packs off. Don't put the piston in front of the camera. And then to square the rings up, I've been taking these 1.5 mil rings, putting them in my new pistons. Just 2 sections of it. Then slide the piston down. The ring stops it on the top of the cylinder, and then all these have been close to 24 thou, so starting at my 22. Slide it in, find where it starts grabbing. 23, 24, 25. So bottom ring is 25 thou. Just gonna note that down. 025. How I came up with the numbers was went online. They got calculators for boosted applications, naturally aspirated, yada yada yada. So I ended up, what cylinder is this? Number 4, like that. So I knew from my small block Chevy days that it's generally 5 thou per inch of bore. On a standard 350, that's like 20 thou ring end gap for naturally aspirated. And on Volkswagen air-cooled turbo, I didn't find too much information, but I did find just naturally, or standard liquid-cooled rings to be between 6 and 7 thou per inch. So I went to the heavier side of that. I went about 7 thou per inch for my end gap, and hopefully that works out. I could be way out to lunch. I could be a fucking idiot. I don't know. You guys will probably tell me in the comments, hey Jamie, you're being a fucking idiot. I'm okay with that. Like I said, this Volkswagens are kind of a learning experience for me. And yeah, I'm taking it all in stride. If anyone has any comments of I am being an idiot, or hey, that's a genius idea, which I think might be not quite what's going on. 24 thou. Yay. I'm not checking my oil rings at the bottom of the cylinder. If they're good at the top, they got a ton of room to expand out when they get to the bottom, hopefully. Another thing I've been doing on all of these, which you didn't see, or you might not have seen, I might have put it in the video, I don't know, I'm getting old, I'm forgetting shit these days. Figured out what way is forward on the piston, what cylinder it's going in. So this one's my number 4, because I got 1, 2, 3 already done. And then just quickly with a Sharpie, I marked out the points. I'm doing oil control ring right at the wrist pins. That's where the gaps are going to be. The split on the oil control ring is going to be right at 12 o'clock. And then I got 90 degrees for my top and second rings for my compressions. Just because it is pancake motor, boxer motor, my pistons are fucking running sideways, so I don't want anything on the bottom half, just in case I do overfill my oil or get some sort of weird foaming action. theoretically, I'm not going to have any oil go by. That is pending my rings don't turn while they're in there. Also on a new set of rings. See if that'll come into focus. Come on, Yahuwah. They are labeled top. I don't know if you can see that right there. But it is labeled top 2. And then my top compression ring is labeled top 1. Focus. Focus. Fuck it. So the way they came out is the way they're going back in, and that is with the writing facing upwards, or sideways, I guess, towards the head. So when I've been putting these in, all the other 3, they've been around like 15 thou to start. So if you are getting, ooh, this one's 18. If you are getting new piston cylinders, that might work out great for you. That might not. I'm not telling you I'm an expert on this by any means, but yeah. The other thing that how does my stone? There it is. I've been doing on all of them is I just got an old Lansky set for sharpening knives. Got a couple broken stones in them, so I've just been taking the stone and just knocking off any burrs so I don't scratch the piss out of my cylinders on all 4 sides around the rings after I file them. I'm not looking to polish them. I'm just knocking off any shitty burrs. Oh, I wasn't even going to record this, but I figured someone would have a good laugh. What the fuck is going on there? Oh, go. Come on. 22 thou still won't fit in. So if I just take that, there we go. So the way this works, you butt it up. I've seen guys before compress these, and I'm not a big fan of that. I just do one side and then do the other. And I always go in a clockwise motion. That way the cutting wheel is pulling down on it. That helps hold the ring down to the mating surface. Yeah, so if you're wondering what this is, it's just a hand crank fucking grinding wheel. It's nothing special, but it does have a flat deck surface on there, so, and the 2 stop pins. So long as your ring's touching both stop pins, I don't have a problem getting a little aggressive. I might not have done hundreds of rings on here, but I've definitely done more than a few sets. Yeah. Oh, come on. Losing my shit apparently today. Hey, and the other good news is roll-up's back, so God bless the coffee gods. 22 thou fits. 23 thou fits. 24 thou is tight, so I got another 2.5 thou to go, so I'm gonna flip the ring over. We'll see if the camera can get this. Yeah. Focus. Focus. Nope. Not catching it. I'd love to say I'll insert a picture, but that shit ain't gonna happen. So, the wheel being an abrasive wheel, it leaves a whole bunch of angular scratches in it, so I flip the ring back and forth. That way it makes more of a crosshatch, smooths out the unevenness. Will it make a difference in the long run? I highly doubt it, but you never know, so. I will say, after doing a Volkswagen, I much prefer it, these and bikes, to like a small block Chevy. Mostly because I can bring the parts inside and stay warm, because it is fucking cold out. 26 thou fits, but just 27. What's that? Nope. 026. Oh, dang it. And check it on the bottom side. Why did I fold those up? .026 fits, no, .027, good. So, okay. Like I said, after I check it, I'm just giving it a really good once over, because I don't want any burrs ending up in it. I'm not building a race car here, so I'm not going to pull everything apart and clean it really fucking good. You didn't see off camera, but I did come in here, wipe out the cylinders with some tranny fluid, got it so my rag is actually clean. I also did the same with the pistons, yada yada yada. They had Cosmoline or WD-40 or 1030 or something like that on it. These are the ring pliers, so just there we go. Throw the gap in there, crank it open. It's self-holding. It'll take any thickness of ring except for the oil control rings. I like this because it gives even pressure, and it's super easy to just snap down in place. Rings on, no muss, no fuss. Move that to my next gap. Same thing with the top ring. Flip the cylinder jug back over. I like throwing top up. And once the second ring's on, I don't need my old rings because the second ring will work as a stop beautifully. And I got 25 thou to go. 25 thou. That's funny. 5 thou to go. I know this is a super interesting video. Let's see what I've got here. 20 thou fits, 21 fits. Oh, did I do it? 22, yes. 23. How about just 23? There we go. Yes, 24. Oh, brother. 25. Some days I'm a lot better than the others. Today is one of those days, at least this morning. Let's see what happens. Make sure 24 fits in. Yes, and 25. No. 024, 024, 026, 026. So again, make sure top is facing up. Find my Sharpie mark. There we go. So that's gonna end it for this video. I got 20 minutes of absolute bullshit going on, so yeah. Hopefully you guys are somewhat entertained. Honestly, if one person fucking learns something from this and doesn't do something that I did that was stupid, I would call this video series a success. Yeah. If you live in Canada, happy roll-up season. May the odds be ever in your favor. It's fucking cold out. So I'll try to update more as I go. I did get my phone fixed, so I actually have a screen and can see what's going on. Yeah. So comment. You can like and share and subscribe too if you want. To my 7 followers, thanks guys. So yeah, have a good day. Make good life choices.